Hello everyone, this is Sean Parvini, and in this video I'm going to try to help you construct several box plots in Excel. Before we actually move to Excel, however, I'm going to show you my strategy on how to do this. Okay, now we all know what box plots are made up. Some call this the 5-number summary, and these 5-number summary are the minimum, the first quartile, the second quartile or the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. So those are the 5 numbers that we're going to need when we go to Excel. Now once the box is constructed, it's going to look something like this. So suppose this is a number coordinate system. We're going to have a whisker, and then we have actually the box itself, right? So this is what a typical box plot may look like. This would be the minimum. This would be Q1, here's Q2 or the median, and again Q3 and the maximum. So this is what we would like to end up drawing in Excel. Now one way we can do this is actually doing it this way. So my strategy is to actually create a stacked bar plot, that is. So this bar plot is going to have 5 pieces. Okay, and then the 5 pieces here, what I need to do is I need to actually hide the lower part, and then in the middle one, not in the middle but the one next to that, the second bar, what I want to do is I want to draw the whisker here, the whisker, and hide the bar. And then finally for that last portion, I would like to again hide it and add a whisker to it. Okay, so that's what we want to do. That's our strategy, hide and whisker. Okay, so keep in mind this is the premise. This is our strategy on how to create this box plot. And with that, let's go to Excel and try to do this. Okay, so we're in Excel now, and what I have here is price of the Lexus IS 300 model 2018. As of this pricing is as of June of 2021. And I have found 3 sources for this information or this data. I looked up Auto Trader, Car Guru, and Kelley Blue Book. So these are the prices. Now remember, in order to do our box plots, we need to create our 5-number summary. That is the minimum, Q1, Q2, I'm just going to call it the median also, and Q3, finally the maximum. Okay, so those are the 5 numbers we need. Well, I'm going to use the Excel function here in order to find all of these. So I'm going to go minimum of in that range. The minimum score is that, and I'm going to actually adjust this. I'm going to put a $sign next to this, and the significance of $sign is that it will freeze that cell when I copy it in a horizontal format. Okay, so in other words, I'm going to allow for letter F to change to G and then H, because I'm going to copy this to the next 2 columns, but I don't want to change the rows when I do that. Okay, so for Q1, I'm going to use the function, hit equal sign, or you can use plus sign, either or, equal. And then we're just going to go for the quartile. We're going to go quartile, and then there are 2 preset functions in Excel, Quartile Inc and Quartile X. And of course, you can kind of click and it will show you the difference between them. The difference is that the percentile values from 0 to 1 are either inclusive or exclusive. So I'm going to go inclusive in mine. My array is going to be this array, and comma. The quartile, notice you can get your minimum maximum using this function also, but I'm just going to use min max functions for those. But I'm just going to type 1 for first quartile here and then enter. just to make sure. There you go, that's my selected range. And again, I'm just going to put a $sign here. Next, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go equal Quartile Inc. And my array is going to be this column, F column. These are the quotes from AutoTrader, comma 2. That puts me in with the median. That gives me the second quartile. For third quartile, I'm going to go Quartile Inc. And my array is going to be that column, comma 3, and that's it. Again, you can use Quartile Inc. to get your maximum value, but I'm just going to go at this point equal max of these numbers. So I got my 5-number summary here, right? And let me also put a $sign here. Okay, now to get the rest of these, I'm going to actually copy them. So here's how I copy them. You select the range. In the lower right corner, there is this plus sign that appears. You see the plus sign? Hold the left click once and drag it, and you get these numbers for the others. Okay, so for example, there you go. That's the minimum of those. First quartile of that range, third quartile. This one, here's first quartile, and the maximum, and the minimum in that range. Okay, so that's perfect. So we got our 5-number summaries for these three dealers, or the 3 sources of data, let's say, not dealers. Next, what I need to do in order to do now we are actually ready to construct our bar charts. But before we do, I need to do something else. Okay, so I'm going to actually move this, Control X. I'm going to move it up here. Okay, Control V will paste it, and there we have it. So what I need to do next, I'm going to actually insert columns here, and let me call this first source is AutoTrader. Okay, and my second source was CarGuru, and my last one was Kelley Blue Book. I'm going to go KBB for Kelley Blue Book. Okay, now actually I know is they're not top of the columns where they should be, and you will see, because when we do our series, these become the legends for our series in a few minutes. And actually what I want to plot are not these numbers. We don't want to use these. If we do, you're going to get a wacky box plot that's inaccurate. So here's how things are going to unfold now. So first, you're going to copy the minimum. Okay, and the next step, what I want to do is I'm going to look at the difference between Q1 and the minimum. So what I'm doing is actually, it's like this. You remember that first bar I had? So what I'm doing is I'm adding 2800 to that first bar, the minimum, in order to get to Q1. And then I need to add plus that minus that. Add that much more to work my way towards the median. And I need to add, sorry, that should be minus, add this much, the distance from Q2 to Q3. And finally, for the maximum, don't hit, you could hit max 33.5, but I'm just going to go plus that minus that. So again, what I'm doing is I'm starting at 25,600, and then I'm adding this much, these distances, to build my stack bar. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing with these. Of course, I could have used $sign for these appropriately, so it makes the copy process a little easier. Okay, and plus this minus that. And then if I copy this There you go. Just want to make sure that it did it right. Okay, it did. And then plus this amount minus this amount. Again, this would be the distance we're going to add to 26,600 to work our way towards Q1. And of course, I'm going to copy those. Perfect. So we're good. So remember, these are the differences that we just did. Now we are ready to do our box plot. So how are we going to do this? We're actually going to select this region. Okay, and then let me actually do this. I'm going to change my viewing window here so you can see more of what I'm doing. So let me highlight the area that I'm going to insert, and I'm going to insert. If you want a horizontal box plot, you're going to go with this option. If you want vertical box plots, you go with this option. Okay, so I'm going to go with horizontal box plots. And there you go. Now I know they don't look like box plots, do they? And in fact, we have some extra information in here that we have to weed out. Okay, but so far this is what we have. Now notice in here, by the way, I have KBB, Car Guru, and Auto Trader. Those match the labels on these columns: the L column, the N column, and the P column. These other series I'm actually going to delete. Okay, so I'm going to right click, select data, and the easiest way to do that is if I switch rows and columns. Look what's going to happen to the chart. The chart is now actually, it looks like kind of a box plot in the making, versus, let me switch back and you see the difference. See that those are not, I have extra bars, and in this one I don't. Now what I need to do is I need to actually remove some of these blank series that you see in my list. Okay, so I'm going to delete blank series, remove, and blank series, remove, and then of course these are my selected series, right? And then hit OK, and this is what it looks like, right? And what I need to do again, click on the chart, right click, select data, and I'm gonna switch rows and columns here. Let's see, and there you go. Hit OK. Now the labels I don't need, so I'm gonna come here and remove the legends. Okay, so the legends are gone. And let me enlarge this a little more. I'm just going to call the chart title here, I'm just going to call this box plot of prices. Okay, and of prices, that's good. Now it's descriptive. Okay, now we're going to actually do what we strategized earlier. Okay, remember we're gonna actually hide the lower bars. So you just left click once on any one of these. You can do it on Auto Trader, on Car Guru, or KBB. Just make sure that the whole thing is selected. There you go. So I'm clicking outside of the chart area, and then I'm clicking on inside the chart area. Now left click once, and then there you go. You see all three lower bars are selected, and then right click, and right in here you can go fill, or you can go format data series. Right in here I'm just going to click on fill, and I'm going to go white. Make sure it's white. If you go any other color, it's not going to work. It's actually going to just change the color. So you literally, this is how I'm going to hide it. Okay, don't worry about these lines. In fact, there you go, I can hide the grid lines. We don't need grid lines, so the grid lines are gone. Okay, now remember we had 5 pieces. This part is still there, we just don't see it. That's the second part, third, fourth, and fifth part. The second part is where the left whisker is gonna be. So notice again, I have selected all lower bars on all 3 sources. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to right click and the fill on this one. I'm gonna go no fill. Okay, that's good. Now here's what we want to do. While these are selected, I'm gonna click on error bars. Okay, and continue on. Change that to standard deviation. It doesn't matter, you can choose any of them, by the way. I just click on the standard deviation. Okay, and then go more options. Now with more options here, let me move this recording area. With more options, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go the horizontal error bar. I'm gonna go, the direction's gonna be minus, and you don't want a cap, no cap, and change the percentage to 100%, and look what happens on the chart when I change that to 100%. And there you go. Right, that's the box plot, and that's going to be minus there. Okay, and I know the whiskers look small. Don't worry, we're going to change that once we adjust the horizontal scale. Instead of going from 0 to 40,000, let's say, I'm going to change that in a moment to go from maybe 20, 24, 22,000 something to 36,000, and that's going to make the bar look better. But for now, it's important to do this, and I'll show you the effect of changing the percentage when the whiskers look better. But at this, and that's all it does. It goes 100% of the whiskers, 50% whiskers, the distance to the next bar. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to X out, and let's see. We select these. Now I'm going to change the color of these. So I'm going to go color. And this is a matter of just taste. You can have yellow box plots. I'm going to go with this color, which is usually in textbooks, blue. Okay. And next thing I want to do is, let's see, I want to go, let me do this. I want to draw a, oops, there we go. I'm going to draw a border around these boxes. So I'm going to go format data series, and I'm just going to go border solid line. And even your border could be a different color. See right down here, you can choose like black if you want, or you can choose a color that matches the fill color. So that's this one. And then of course I can change the width of that to 1 point. The border, that is the width of the border, to 1 point, so it looks a little better. Let me do that. I'm going to change actually my border to 1.5. Okay, and solid line. And oh, I see what's wrong. Okay, because my border color, in order for it to be different, I need to go bigger width. Okay, and of course I can change the color. You can change it to black if you want, and there you go. That's what it's going to look like. So it's just playing with those colors. Okay, and let me fix it one last time to where it is this color. All right. Now let's take a look at this middle bar. Again, all three are selected. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to change the color on this one to the same as the other one, and the color is that, and I'm going to go 1.25. Go 1.25 on these also, because it looks too thick. And there you go. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to go solid border. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and darn it, let me change this to 1.5, 2 point. You know what, let me just change those to black, so I don't have to mess around with the width. So borders are solid, and we're gonna go black, and we're gonna go 1 point all around. This one, solid. We're going to go black and 1 point. All right, looks better. Now, this one, this is the bar, the last bar. That's going to be the right whisker. Okay, so I'm just going to first of all go no shading, no fill, and we're going to add error bars to it. So I'm going to go plus error bars and use a standard deviation with more options. Make the direction minus and no caps. The percentage is going to go 100%. Oops, not 1,000, 100%. And there you go. So we got the whiskers now. Now let's fix the scaling here, format axis. I'm just going to go the low, looks like 22,000 would be good for this. And the major units, I'm just going to go 2,000 on those, and 2,000. Minimum is going to be 22,000, and the maximum I'm going to go with 36,000. And perfect. There you go. Look at our box plots. So here we have three kind of side-by-side box plots. If you want to again scale this, we're done with what we wanted to do, by the way. These are the box plots. But still, if you want to accentuate these whiskers, you can change your scale. Maybe you go from 24,000 here. That will enhance the whiskers. There you go. And now I can show you the effect of percent when we use error bars. Let me get out of format. To get to error bars, you go plus error bars and more options right in here. I'm going to change that. Note, I have the right whisker for auto trader selected. I'm going to change that to 50% and look what happens. You see that? So it's now 50% of the distance from the previous bar to the end of this bar. But in order to have a continuous bar that attaches itself, I'm going to go 100% and it attaches itself. And there you go. You got your box plots. Now this is, by the way, live. So as you change your data, the shape of the box plots clearly is going to change, right? So let me, for instance, this one, Auto Trader, I'm going to make it kind of look like Kelley Blue Book now. Okay, so I'm going to manipulate the data a bit. So I'm going to create a minimum of about 26,000. Oops, and I don't know what happened here. Hold on. Let me do that. X out, hold. Okay, there you go. And my right click on format error bars, I'm going to change that to 100%. Okay, now it's back to normal. So without looking at the specifics, let me change Auto Trader here. X this out. Okay, okay, Auto Trader is changed already. Let me change my third quartile for Auto Trader. So Auto Trader third quartile, and you can choose any one of these, by the way. It doesn't matter, any one of these scores. That's interesting. I'm going to change that to about 32,000. Let's see if that will help. Yeah, that moved it over. Okay, the whisker moved also. Let me not do that. So you can change the third quartile. It's about 31,000 right now. So let me change this one to 32,000. There. So I moved my quartile over. Again, you can. I'm just showing you how live this box plot is. If you change, for example, Car Guru, I'm going to go maximum 35,000 in Car Guru. So I'm going to change that to 35,000. Look at the right whisker for Car Guru. See that? It changed. But anyway, that's all we wanted to do. So this is how you construct the box plot in Excel.